souls. This is Diane Lang, Wisdom of the Akashics. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for all of your views, your likes, your comments, your feedback. Also, those of you that are visiting my Facebook page, facebook.com/Wisdom of the Akashics. I do videos there also that are really more spiritual life hacks. They're not focused on the twin flame, but they're just about how to manage life, appreciation, gratitude, challenges in our day-to-day experience, and that those are for anybody, and I really appreciate your likes, comments, and feedbacks there also. And if you ever have anything that you'd like me to actually talk about, or you have a question, a specific question, please send it to me, and if certainly if it's something that I can, I'll build it into one of the videos. So this video is for those of you that are participating in my signed up for my 3-part video series for the twin flame journey. This one is about understanding the value, the benefits, and what happens when you do what I call really a spiritual virus scan. And that's kind of what it came up one day when I was doing some energy work, and I kind of got the analogy that, you know, a spiritual virus scan is very much like the scan that we do on our computers today. You know, so many cars are electronic, so they hook up and they scan those cars, they scan the computer, they scan that information to find out where the faults, the blocks are, you know, what viruses have loaded onto the computer, what spyware is there, all stuff that we call blocks and restrictions that are keeping us from our divine highest nature, keeping us from our truth, keeping us from our power. And the reason that I do these spiritual virus scans, energy clearings, is so that people, it's kind of like coming in and giving yourself a bit of a spiritual tune-up so that you're working with the correct information, and that you're working with a clear channel. Because a lot of people right now on the earth are not feeling very connected to source. And it really, I had this discussion yesterday with a friend of mine. Source never disconnects from us, and I mean never, ever, ever disconnects from us. We only disconnect from it. And so this is kind of like clearing the channels, clearing the pathway, right from the soul chakra, the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, the throat communication, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root chakra, and then grounding deep into the crystalline core heart of Mother Earth. And the point of these spiritual virus scans, when somebody orders one from me and I go and do the work here for you, I start out with clearing and calling in source, clearing any pathways to the chakras, and I first clear the chakras. And I look at the chakras as, you know, literally as the channel that leads us from source down to Mother Earth, that keeps us grounded in our truth, and then back up, and then we settle into the energy of the heart, and from there I do the rest of the clearing work. And the reason for this is, if you think of it as a blocked pipe, so to speak, or you think of eave troughs that are full of gunk and leaves and dirt and everything that, you know, piles up over the winter, if people don't keep their eave troughs clean, next thing you know, water spilling over top of their house. It's not funneling down the drain properly. It's not being sent out into, you know, just out into the lawn or the grass. And this is just an analogy to give you an idea that there's really no sense in doing the energy work where I now go after the clearing. After I've cleared your chakras, I go in and then I do and then I start to impart and clear each chakra individually, and then impart new information, bring in new light codes, bring in new information, bring in twin flame information, bring in the balance and the harmony and the compatibility issues that you may be having with your twin. So what happens when I'm doing a specific energy clearing, I will get information specific to you and your twin. What may be a block, you know, whether it's an abandonment issue, there's trust issues, there's past life issues. There's so many different things that are, so to speak, clogging the drain, clogging the communication between the two of us. I have very clear channel of communication with my twin, and this shows up everywhere. And if you watch my videos, you'll hear me say it over and over and over again. You know, and I can be thinking about him, and I'll look up and he'll pass by. I'll, you know, come out of a bank. I'll ask him sometimes, you know, hey, I'd like to connect today. Can you just, you know, let me know that you're here, you're near? And then he'll drive by, often within 6, 8, 10, 12 minutes later. You know, he'll go by my house. So he's obviously chosen that route. He's hearing me. I believe that he's hearing me. I just went away for 2 days and 2.5 days. And when I was returning to the city, and so I kind of had a couple days where, I was just out doing some things. I was getting some tests done, and I was kind of, disconnected. I just was like, no, this is kind of good to create some space. And I have lots of things to do, and I want some shopping to do, and look at a new phone and things like that. And as I'm driving back into the city, just on the east side of our city, there's a bridge that crosses over. And so as I'm driving towards the bridge, I look up, and because you've heard me talk about how he has somewhat of a distinctive truck, license plate, thing like that, and the emblem, I was just in shock. I was like, no way, God, seriously? Because I had started to think about him, my last hour of the drive home, just thinking that how he's doing. I hope he's feeling better. You guys know that I felt like the last few times I've seen him, he didn't look very well. And so this truck is coming towards me, I'm completely like, seriously, I didn't even make it to the city limits. And, we look over at each other, and sure enough, he's going off the bridge, I'm going on the bridge. And so we connected. Just as I was coming back into the city after being gone for 2.5 days, the universe, out of all the places and spaces we could be in, we drove by each other as I returned to the city. Then I went about doing a couple things. I got home, I was unpacking my car, and I look up and he's come back into the city. And I had heard this, that's okay, I'm coming back to get water. And I'm like, I expect him to do that now. But I had went and filled, I have a flat tire in my car, so I went and got some air in the tire and this and that. So he lives out of town. I wasn't sure when he would come back in. I just felt like yesterday I would see him come back in with his water tank on the back of his truck. And as I'm unloading my car and I'm just about to close the trunk of my car, boom, there he is driving by the house with the water truck. And so I saw him then. I went out and I did a couple more errands. I came back in. He was coming back into town for a second time. Right when I looked out the window, he drives by again. And I mean, I only have 1 or 2 seconds for this stuff, you guys. But this is because I keep the channel of communication open between us. I didn't just hear he was coming back to town. I heard he was coming back to town for water. He doesn't have the water tank in the back of his truck when he doesn't need water. And so there's a lot of different things that take place when you keep that channel clear. These are things that you guys can do, but to help people get started, it's what people hire me to do, is to go in there, and it's kind of, I run through your story, I clear the chakras, I clear the connections between you and your tin, we cut, sever, and all cords, hooks, and ties, we do all of that, and then we bring in new information. We bring in the energy of love and forgiveness and happiness and joy and camaraderie and compatibility and forgiveness and all of the things that keep our souls aligned and seeking what it is we truly desire to seek in our relationships. People that will have the clearings, the common things afterwards is they feel lighter. This is a very, very common thing. And I know what it means when somebody says it feels lighter. It's as if some form of weight was lifted off our shoulders when we had some energy and clearing work done. Because I've been doing this my whole life. I'm an advanced Akashic record consultant. I'm a Reiki master. I've dealt with Geotran, quantum physics, radical forgiveness, many, many things. And I bring them all into my work depending on what the universe calls me to do for you in particular, because I may get different information for you and what tools to you than I do for somebody else that I work with. You will self-love, self-forgiveness, self-awareness are the 3 biggest things that I find are very common on the twin journey. And so people will become, I've really stepped into my own myself and owning my power and not being a victim to this relationship. There's so many things, so many people are focusing on the problem. And if you understand and put into practice the law of attraction, it's very clearly there's reasons why you don't focus on the problem, because you're actually attracting more things inside of your story to continually perpetuate and create that distance, that disconnection between you and your twin. Peaceful, people will talk about feeling peaceful. People will talk about they feel they've started to feel more abundant in their lives. They're seeing other parts, relationships that are around them cleaning up and clearing up. And it's because it's literally as if you've taken your computer in, you're doing a virus scan, you're upgrading it, you're defragging the information, putting it all back in an order that's in harmony with your soul, harmony with your truth, and harmony with your twin. So this is what a twin flame clearing is. This is what I call a spiritual virus scan. And for those of you watching, I also work in the areas of money and health and any abundance and any issues in our lives. Sometimes what we're stuck in is a relationship in the past. We're hung up on a relationship in the past. We could be a past life connection that there needs to be a disconnect from. We might be in an unrighteous agreement. There might be a vow or a curse or a contract there that's keeping us in, kind of in chains. And what did somebody describe it to me the other day? A prison. They wrote to me and they said, after the energetic clearing I had with you, Diane, I felt like I was let out of prison. That's powerful stuff, to know that your soul, and the reason that's happening is because your soul is responding to the clearing work. So I do suggest that if you either are doing them yourselves, if not, bring somebody in your story to help you with them. You can go to my website, twinflameclearings.com. twinflameclearings.com. I've actually updated the website name, so you would have heard it a little bit differently on the other videos. And order a twin flame clearing from me, and I have an amazing special right now to do a twin flame clearing and a one-on-one coaching session. And when we do the one-on-one coaching sessions, we get really honed in on your specific story, your specific blocks and restrictions, those things that are keeping you from your divine joy and your bliss and your happiness and being forgiving and all of the things. And there's just to get the muck and the mire out of the way. And so really everything's about turning the mirror around and having a look at ourselves. And this is something that I specialize in. And when I get the testimonials back from the work that I do for my clients, I don't read a testimonial without having tears in my heart, or I literally start crying, because I'm so happy that they're connected, that the information I passed on to them resonated with them and they were able to hear that and use the information. And with the twin flame clearings, you also are getting an invocation to call in your twin. This was channeled directly to me by Spirit, and also a clearing exercise, so that we're in the lower stuff, when we're in the frustration and the impatience and all of that, that those things also get you have a tool that at home for yourself that you can use. And I tell everybody, make sure you're not calling in your twin when you're in the lower energy. Call in your twin when you do the clearing work, if you're feeling the low energy and the sadness and depression and disconnection and all of that. And then when you get through that clearing and you feel empowered and lighter and more self-loving and unconditionally loving towards your twin, then use the invocation and call them in. And we are having some really great work that's being done here. And there's so many twins that are writing me and saying they're so excited to be part of this journey and opening these gateways for us to step into our truth and our heart and our gifts. And that's another thing. There's a lot of people that come to me that are somebody that feels that they belong in some area of the healing arts, but they're back in, like my story was, they're in that executive administration or their typical whatever job that they're in, but they have a passion for healing arts. And that I have a program called Awaken to Your Soul, and that actually guides you out of being, thinking that the only option that you have is to be where you are in a traditional job, and help you move out of that space and into slowly starting to build a practice and a business that allows you to start to be part of the healing arts, to be successful in the healing arts, and to be living your passion in truth, because that's actually what I'm doing. And by stepping up to these clearings, no matter how resistant I was in the beginning, if you go back to my earlier videos, I was extremely resistant to I didn't even want to know what a twin flame was when it first came to me, because I really felt this relationship was taking so much out of me at that time, in terms of the loneliness and the longing that I felt for him. And now that I understand it, and do these clearings and energetics and invocations, my relationship with my twin is it's changed so much. And I will give you an example. Last night I came home, because I ended up seeing him in a total of 7 times in just over a 90-minute window when I came back to town yesterday. which was just beautiful that Spirit was doing that. I went to and did a meditation because I felt our connection was so strong. And that's what I'm saying about you get out there and you do the work when you're in that space of love and thanking the universe and being so grateful and appreciative of everything. And I was in my bedroom with a set of headphones on, listening to a twin flame guided meditation. And I have a speaker, Bluetooth speaker that I had in my car that it was on my trip. I was listening to my iPad on. And when you start that speaker, when you power it powers on and it says you have now been paired, or it says disconnected. So I'm in this meditation in my bedroom with headsets on, and I'm listening to the meditation. And I was really capturing the energy of being in oneness with him. And all of a sudden I had my speaker system that was actually in my hallway in my bag that I had carried into the house, and in a very, very, very loud voice while I was in this meditation, the words came out, "You are now paired." I wasn't even using that speaker. I wasn't connected to that speaker. I wasn't even using Bluetooth. I was using headphones. And so while I'm in the middle of a meditation, feeling that oneness with my twin, I get in this particular part of the meditation, I get, "You are now paired." I mean, I was so stunned. I didn't want to come out of the meditation because I was really connecting. So I allowed myself to complete the meditation. And then I went afterwards and I went looking for the speaker because I thought, where was that? Like, I didn't even know it was turned on. And it maybe was or it wasn't, but I'll tell you, Spirit was showing me you are connected, you are paired, you are in alignment, and together we are healing our story, and which at some point I believe will bring us into union. So God bless each and every one of you. I hope you're enjoying your 3-part video series, and I truly appreciate anybody that does. I appreciate all of you and for watching, but I really connect, and I feel very honored to do the work that I'm doing, the clearing and the coachings for. So God bless. Diane Lang, Wisdom of the Akashics. Namaste, beautiful soul. Namaste.